We have been performing well in Europe this year. It
Yeah,
has been few draws and mostly wins. We haven't lost till now. I hope that continues.
yeah. Talking about the Lyon game, possibly our biggest game of the season at this point in time. Hopefully, we have bigger games than that with the semi-final and the final coming in. We don't have to look forward towards anything in the Premier League. It's all Europa League for us. I think these 5 games will be the biggest. Hopefully, we play all 5 and go on to win the fifth one as well. But what do you make of Lyon? We know they're in decent form. They've won 7 out of their last 9 against FCFSB over 2 legs. They won 7-1 on aggregate. So they're a team in good form.
Oh yeah, I mean, all the 8 teams which are, for that matter, who are left in the Europa League, they have been there on merit. I don't think there are any passengers in these last 8. And similarly for Lyon as well, Lyon have shown great form in both Europa League and in their league as well. Of course, in the last round, they won 7-1 against FCSB. We saw some of their goals, and they are a force. They are a good midfield force, and they tend to play with a pack of inside forwards. Their
Yeah,
best player, who is Rayan Cherki, who has got some 9 goals and 18 assists in 36 games. That's quite a good return, in my opinion. Uh, and he's in their go-to player whenever it comes to making something out of nothing. And to trouble United, I think they are also a very defensively solid unit. Even though they concede quite a few goals, but their inherent characteristics is they first depend on defensive solidity and then they go and attack with a lot of midfield numbers. So
yeah,
I feel the game would be won or lost in our center midfield area, wherein we have our 6 and 8. So Ugarte and Casemiro, who I expect to start, will play a very big role.
yeah. No, I agree. And what we have seen over some of the games of how Lyon have scored, how they have conceded some of these goals, I think they also try to remain compact, which is where their centre backs will also support the midfielders in trying to create that overload in the midfield. But that can sometimes lead to the centre backs pressing forward,
Yeah.
which can leave room for a pacey attacker to get behind them with Casemiro or Bruno creating those long balls in for them. So I
Yeah.
see probably towards the later half of the games, both the games, some of these long balls in and Garnacho making those runs to be able to latch onto them, and hopefully he takes better decisions in the final third. So I think that will be critical for us. But yeah, I think it will come down to how well we can play as a midfield unit. We have seen a little bit of a resurgence with United remaining compact in the midfield with Casemiro, Ugarte, Bruno almost tucking into that center of the park and then ensuring we are not giving away too many chances. So I feel I feel optimistic about this one. I feel uh, if we can come with a positive result, even a draw would do against Lyon away, and then I think taking the game to them when they come at Old Trafford, I think that could be the way to go for it.
I think with the incomings, especially Mount and Luke Shaw and everyone, I think we should win this game away and bring a easy game back to Old Trafford. Uh, that is my hope. And like I mentioned, an overload of fullbacks is something that we saw against the City game as well. We saw a lot of long balls from Casemiro and Bruno towards Dorgu, and
Yeah,
Matthews Nunes was shown as much as he kept shilling in the midfield. The more balls went
yeah,
through Dorgu and Garnacho on the other side. I believe a similar theme I see in this game as well, and hoping the starting 11 of United in this game has enough to take on the Lyon teams.
yeah.
On that note, let's build that starting 11. I believe the keeper and the fullbacks pick themselves: Onana,
Any chance
Dalo, and
Binder
Dorgo.
plays? He got injured when he was getting few cup games, etc. And now I think it's the first cup game since Binder is back. Do you see a remote possibility of Binder starting?
Unlikely. It's a very important game. I believe Onana will be starting. I don't think we can take any chances with the communication with a bad performance here. I believe Onana is the best player for this game right now. So
Yeah.
Onana, Dorgu, and Dalo. Who do you think? I believe Maguire will play. He was brought in at 60 minutes.
Yeah, I think and Amorim spoke about this after the game that it was not any injury. The medics
Yeah,
had only cleared him for 60 minutes for this
yeah.
game. I think with the lookout for the game on Thursday. So I think Maguire should start. The other two,
I believe Ligt might also start. Ligt is also available now.
is he
Or do
fit?
you think it'll be Euro?
I'm not sure if he's fit. He
Yeah, yeah,
wasn't in
he
this.
is. He
He
is.
wasn't in the squad, no, yesterday.
Yeah, but after the post-match conference, he did mention four players who are coming back, and he was one of them.
I think Euro did
Delete or
really well
Euro,
yesterday. I think Euro did
I
really well
believe so.
yesterday. If Delict is not, up to speed to get a start, maybe Euro starts this one and then we see because right center back, I think Mazarawi plays. You
Agreed.
can't keep Mazarawi out of this squad. He has been brilliant whichever position he plays, and I think he does that role of a ball playing center back who bombards forward, which Euro was also doing yesterday, by the way, with his pace.
Hmm.
So I think it. I think this team works better with Delict or Maguire playing as that central center
Hmm.
back, and on the left and right of them a little more pacier center backs. So I most likely see Euro playing this one.
Hmm. No, I think this is a good enough defensive unit. Good job on getting the spelling of Mazrai right.
Why it's right only, no?
Yeah, it is. It is.
Yeah.
All right. Coming to the midfield, I believe Ugarte starts.
So actually, I've been
Meantime,
reading a little bit of
hmm.
fan forums, etc., talking about it. There is some discussion whether it should be a Casemiro Bruno or a Ugarte Bruno or a Casemiro Ugarte pivot. But
Hmm.
my personal sense is that given this game, and you would
Hmm.
this is an away game, you would want to ensure that defensive solidity. I think it
Hmm.
should be a Casemiro Ugarte combination that plays this one.
Hmm.
What do you think?
Yeah, I believe unless we see a Ugarte and a Bruno and a Mount starting, Mount
Okay,
has been.
yeah, I wanted to discuss that. So let's talk about the fact that whether it is Casemiro Ugarte is very clear if that is the midfield it will be. If Bruno has to play, whether it will be Ugarte or Casemiro, let's talk about that. Who do you think if Bruno is to play in the center of the park, is he paired better with Ugarte or Casemiro?
That's a quite a tough question because Casemiro has the big game experience, while Ugarte has the legs. I believe we'd go for legs rather than big game experience in this one.
Yeah, so I think it could be Casemiro Ugarte as the first combination that I see playing out. But if Bruno has to
Mm,
play, it can be Ugarte Bruno, which will
mm,
mean that in one of the inside forward roles, it's either Bruno or Mount, right?
agreed.
However, I have a little bit of a different approach to this one. What if we play Casemiro Ugarte as the two central midfielders
Mm,
and Bruno and Mount as the two tens because their pressing is really good, and let Garnacho come in the around the 60th minute mark because Mount will not play more than that, even if he were
see,
to start.
mm, see, as much Garnacho has been missing chances, I still believe he's the most volatile outlet of chances that we have. Like he could give you a nine, he could give you a six, but I think he has the highest ceiling of chance creation in that number 10 role for us. So
Yeah, I my thought process is just since it is an away game, you are not necessarily winning the game, but you might concede a lead and then have it difficult. So why not go for more solidity, have good pressers, and maybe bring in Garnacho at the 60th minute mark when the opposition is tiring. He can really take advantage of that. and probably nick in a late goal or something. So that was my thought process, but I agree with you as well. I think Garnacho provides
Mm,
that outlet.
sound, sounds like a solid point. It could be Bruno and a Mount both are tireless pressers.
Yeah.
I just don't see that kind of chance creation once we get Bruno Mount and say Hoyland ahead. It will be Hoyland ahead, right?
I am actually not sure. I because we
Could
were
be
talking
Zerzi.
we were talking about average position of Hoyland, uh, and he was pretty much tucking in with Casemiro and Bruno in the center of the park because either that's a tactical play that has been told to him by Amorim that drop deep, provide that solidity to the midfield, or he just feels that he doesn't receive enough balls, so he has to drop in to get those balls.
I think it was a Manchester City thing. Manchester City tend to have a lot of players in the midfield, and you need everyone to get out of that black hole that they create with their numbers there.
Yeah. But if you were to personally
Leon would
ask
be
me,
different.
yeah, if you were to
Hmm.
personally ask me, I think I would prefer Hoyland to start. I think he has got that one goal against Leicester now. Hopefully, he can go on to build from there because it will be critical. And purely on paper, I think he's a better finisher than Zirkzee. So
Hmm.
I would give him that, but I wouldn't be surprised if Zirkzee starts. I There is not much between them.
Brilliant. And if I'm not wrong, you'd be going for a 1-1 score or a 2-2 score for this one?
Yeah, I think it will be a 1-1 is what I have a feeling. It's an away game. Lyon will try to bring their best. They will. Cherki, before I think the last week's game, he said we are ready to go to war with United. So I am just being a little cautious there, not expecting a lot of big results from this team at this stage, at least in this away game. Hopefully, we can come at par where we are not behind after this game
Hmm.
and then take it at Old Trafford.
Yeah, even I think it'll be a 1-1 or a 2-2. I believe we are as bad offensively as we are defensively. But that being said, I feel we will get chances in this game like we got in City's game, and the players would be up for it for a European adventure for
Yeah,
going as ahead in this competition because just for the fact that this is our last resort of getting some trophy out of the season.
and qualifying for Champions League, I mean, that will be a huge impetus to our financial troubles. So
Yeah.
hopefully we can do that.
Yeah, I mean, 8 teams to go. If we get through this round somehow, it might be Athletic Bilbao in the next round as semi-finals. But that is for another day.
Yeah,
Let's skip past the Lyon challenge, and then we can talk about the semis.
absolutely, absolutely. All right, I think this has been a good one. We are hopeful United can get through against Lyon, and we will see you in the next episode. Thanks for joining in. If you have any suggestions, please reach out to us and tell us how is it that we can improve this further. And as always, this is our perch. Let's knock him off. Until next time, stay united.